Well, if you didn't see the final play last night on Monday Night Football, you probably heard about it or read about it on Facebook or Twitter. A blown call that cost the Green Bay Packers a win has touched off outrage over the NFL's replacement officials. Even President Obama wants the situation fixed. If you didn't see the play in question, take a look. Okay, the Seattle Seahawks trailed the Green Bay Packers 12-7, and on the final play of the game, Seattle's quarterback, Russell Wilson, appears to throw an interception in the end zone. But the officials have a moment of indecision. One signals touchdown while the other signals touchback. The play was reviewed and upheld, and the Seahawks won 14-12 after the extra point. Well, we are joined now by sports attorney John Phillips. And John, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate that. Let's talk about why we're using these replacement refs in the first place. And that's because there's a strike between, the NFL and the original or referees. How close are they?
They're basically, if the NFL gave everything, it'd only be $62,000 per team. So it's really close. We're not that different. It's a matter of pensions versus 401k and having. These NFL refs are basically tenured, like school teachers. Yeah. And so the NFL wants the ability to have backup NFL referees, and the NFLPA is like, no, we got our 120 guys. We want to stick with them.
Do you think plays like last night, and there have been other calls, not as dramatic as this one, but there's been other bad calls in the season. Do you think plays like last night will be the impetus to get the NFL and the officials together and get a deal done?
I tweeted something about it today, and it was retweeted 800 times about this Clay Matthews, who was a Green Bay Packer, being critical and posting Roger Goodell's phone number. It turned out not to be Clay Matthews. It was a parody account. But people went nuts, and people were calling nonstop Roger Goodell's office to the point they shut down the NFL office number. And I talked to Ed Hockley today, the famous, big muscles referee, and he said, look, we're going to let the media and the fans make the call. We can't push this any further, but it's time. We're dealing with Division III college refs. It's just not good.
Well, speaking of fans, obviously they're upset, but players are upset. And Drew Brees, of all players, he's pretty laid back. He seldom complains. Well, even he tweeted about this one, and this is what he had to say from Drew Brees. And New Orleans Saints quarterback said that I love this league and love the game of football, but tonight's debacle hurts me greatly. This is not the league we're supposed to represent. Does he have a point?
He absolutely does. This is the National Football League. It is the best of the best, and that includes the referees. And to have something, a blown call, look, here it is. You've got pass interference right here.
And then, to begin with.
And then he's got one hand, and then he switched hands. There's no way that's a touchdown. Yeah. And it was, the most amateur calls, and then to see the Seattle Seahawks celebrate like that was just, it's unprofessional, and it's unfortunate because one game could make the difference between making the Super Bowl and not in the NFL.
Exactly, and we're talking about a simultaneous catch. It may not have been a simultaneous catch. But let's talk about the money involved in what this game costs, and that is legal bets. People can legally bet on games like this, and if the Green Bay Packers were within the margin of error, if you will, the point spread, before this catch, how much money are we talking about that, people have lost?
I saw estimates of like $500 million. Half $500 million swung on NFL games, and it's kind of their own problem for betting. But it's fantasy football. All of it is the defense for the I guess the Green Bay Packers probably took a point swing. That's what makes the NFL a little more interesting is the fantasy football, the gambling, that whole aspect. And this wasn't wasn't good for that either. It tarnished the image left and right.
Okay, with as much money as this league makes, get a deal done.
$9 billion.
John, thank you very much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Now, you can join the conversation by going to WJXT4 Facebook and Twitter pages and see what others are saying about this outrage over replacement referees. Mary?
It's a talker. Thank you, Rob.
Absolutely,
a third-grade teacher in Central